Shocking case. What dark secret is lurking beneath the surface? Will the gas monkey empire survive this massive revelation? Stick with us as we uncover every twist and turn. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you won't miss the next explosive video. Let's get started. A moment in court started a moment in court that left America in shock. The air was thick with tension in Courtroom 4A of the Northern District of Texas Federal Courthouse. 4 hours, an eerie silence hung as Judge Alana Simmons sifted through her notes, preparing to announce the verdict. Richard Rawlings sat in complete stillness. His once confident smile gone, his trademark slicked-back hair was now untidy, his black shirt wrinkled from weeks of courtroom battles. When the judge finally spoke, her words broke the stillness with chilling precision. The jury had found Richard Rawlings guilty on all counts, and the court handed down a 15-year federal sentence with no chance of parole for the first 10 years. When the court announced financial penalties and restitution demands totaling over $26 million, something inside the reality TV star seemed to break. His attorney, James Westfield, recalled hearing a strange mix of gasping breaths and moans before Rawlings suddenly collapsed forward. Courtroom sketch artist Moran Dewar described the event as happening in the blink of an eye. One moment Rawlings sat frozen like a statue, and the next he crumpled forward onto the table. The horrific sound of his face slamming into the surface and sliding to the floor sent the entire courtroom into a frenzy. Without hesitation, Westfield called for medical help as federal agents swiftly cleared the courtroom. Journalists who were present vividly described the scene, noting how Rawlings's ex-wife covered her mouth in disbelief. Dennis Collins, Rawlings's close friend for years, tried to rush forward but security quickly stopped him. Emergency medical technicians worked frantically for nearly 7 minutes before Rawlings regained consciousness, disoriented and pale. Eventually, he was helped to his feet and escorted out of the courtroom, but not in the way anyone expected. Instead of being handcuffed, he was lying on a stretcher, an oxygen mask covering his famous face. Raymond Wilkins, a seasoned courthouse security officer with 27 years of experience handling federal cases, remarked, "Whether famous or not, when that sentence is handed down and you realize your life as you know it is over, something just breaks inside some people." This dramatic collapse marked the end of a gripping 3-week trial that had not only captivated the automotive world but also stunned television audiences. For over a decade, viewers had welcomed Richard Rawlings into their homes. But now they were faced with an unsettling truth about a man they had never truly known. The investigation into Richard Rawlings's business dealings started innocently in late 2023 when an IRS audit uncovered discrepancies in the finances of Gas Monkey Garage. These irregularities would unfold gradually throughout the investigation, slowly dismantling the empire Rawlings had spent years building piece by piece. What began as a routine tax investigation quickly spiraled into something much bigger when investigators uncovered anomalies that went beyond simple accounting mistakes. The first red flags were the usual signs we see with entertainment figures, explained Martina Suarez, a former IRS investigator. While she wasn't directly involved in the case, she kept a close professional eye on it. The odd debt forgiveness, the blending of personal and business expenses, and the presence of foreign accounts that didn't quite align all raised serious, undeniable suspicions. Then something even more disturbing came to light. Prosecutors labeled it a highly sophisticated scheme, one of the most intricate VIN, vehicle identification number, fraud operations ever uncovered in the automotive industry. Court documents revealed that Rawlings was accused of systematically altering VIN numbers on dozens of classic cars sold through Gas Monkey Garage and its affiliated businesses over the course of nearly 8 years. Federal prosecutors presented compelling evidence showing that many high-value cars featured on Fast and Loud were disguised with fake VINs and fraudulent documentation, transforming ordinary classic cars into rare, highly valuable versions worth far more than their actual worth. The jury was presented with side-by-side comparisons of rare muscle cars and the ones Rawlings was accused of misrepresenting. Automotive experts highlighted subtle differences that only seasoned collectors could spot. In some instances, the cars were skillfully modified to mimic original factory versions, then sold to unsuspecting collectors for hundreds of thousands of dollars more than their true value. One of the most controversial pieces of evidence came directly from Rawlings's own TV show, Prosecutors aired clips where Rawlings excitedly described discovering rare unicorn cars that every collector dreams of. These clips were then contrasted with testimonies from automotive historians who explained the statistical improbability of finding so many rare cars in such a short period of time. What made the case even more captivating were the documents presented by U.S. Assistant Attorney Caroline Morales during a press conference after the trial. She revealed that Rawlings didn't just sell misrepresented cars, he also fabricated intricate fake histories for them, complete with fraudulent documents that could fool even the most seasoned collectors. The most severe allegations centered around Rawlings intentionally selling misrepresented cars across state lines and to international buyers, which triggered federal wire fraud laws carrying significantly harsher penalties. Prosecutors presented evidence showing how Rawlings leveraged his fame and television platform to lend credibility to the fraudulent cars. He used his media presence as a powerful marketing tool to execute this elaborate scam, convincing buyers they were purchasing rare, highly valuable vehicles. The most damning evidence against Rawlings came from the testimony of 3 former Gas Monkey garage employees. They revealed the existence of a secret area within the shop where VIN numbers were allegedly altered using specialized equipment. According to their accounts, this area was off-limits during filming, with only Rawlings and a select few trusted associates having access. It was the perfect cover-up operation, a point that prosecutor Daniel Keller highlighted in his closing arguments. He argued that what was initially a legitimate car restoration show had become the ideal marketing platform for inflating the value of cars through fraudulent means. Rawlings's defense team tried to paint him as a passionate vintage car enthusiast who may have made errors in verifying cars but never intended to deceive anyone. They argued that in the world of classic car appraisal, differing opinions on a car's authenticity are common and should not be criminalized. Defense attorney James Westfield stressed that the notion of Rawlings risking everything to execute such a complex fraud contradicted both the person and the business he had publicly established. However, the jury was not swayed. After 6 hours of intense deliberation following the 3-week trial, they found him guilty on all 18 charges, including wire fraud, mail fraud, conspiracy to commit fraud, and tax evasion. The courtroom was left in shock by the swift verdict, underscoring the undeniable strength of the evidence presented. For Rawlings, who had built a multi-million-dollar empire around his larger-than-life persona and automotive expertise, the conviction was more than just a legal defeat, it marked the destruction of the public image he had meticulously crafted. As prosecutors laid out their case, a disturbing picture emerged of a fraud operation that allegedly ran alongside legitimate transactions at Gas Monkey Garage for years. Court documents revealed that the scheme centered on upgrading ordinary classic cars, transforming them into rare, highly valuable versions through a combination of skillful modifications and fraudulent documentation. In the world of car collecting, a vehicle's provenance is everything. A 1969 Dodge Charger in original form might fetch $75,000. But if reworked into a rare RT version with the iconic 426 Hemi engine, its value could soar to $300,000. Could Richard Rawlings escape the web of lies he's tangled in? As the pieces slowly fall into place, the truth could leave everyone speechless. If this story has intrigued you, make sure to like and share this video so others can uncover it too. Drop a comment below to share your thoughts on this fraud case, and if you haven't subscribed yet, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next jaw-dropping story. Rawlings was accused of taking advantage of these significant value discrepancies by creating rare versions of cars that never actually existed. The genius of this scheme, if you can call it that, explained automotive fraud investigator Marcus Reed, is that it tapped into Rawlings's legitimate expertise. These weren't simple VIN swaps or glaring fakes, the modifications were intricate and expertly done, carried out by skilled mechanics who knew precisely which details had to be flawless to withstand the scrutiny of even the most seasoned experts. According to evidence presented at trial, the operation followed a clear and consistent pattern. Rawlings or his associates would purchase popular classic cars, often in poor condition, to justify the need for restoration and modification. During the restoration process, the cars would be discreetly altered to match the specifications of rare versions, with trim components and identifying marks being changed or added to create the illusion of authenticity. Prosecutors contended that the heart of the scheme lay in the creation of seemingly legitimate documents to support the car's new identities. Expert witnesses testified that Rawlings had access to advanced printing equipment capable of replicating crucial documents like dealer invoices, factory certificates, and build sheets. This was far beyond simply altering a few numbers. Prosecutor Caroline Morales addressed the jury, "This is manufacturing history." Rawlings essentially sold intricate fictional stories backed by physical evidence he forged to validate his narrative. The financial impact of this scheme was staggering. Financial assessments showed that cars upgraded in this manner were often sold for 300% to 500% more than their actual value. Over the course of 8 years, Rawlings and his associates built an extensive fraud network, raking in millions of dollars by artificially inflating prices. Prosecutors claimed the fraudulent scheme generated over $14 million in profits from around 40 cars. What ultimately unraveled the operation was Rawlings's expanding ambition. As Gas Monkey Garage's reputation skyrocketed with the success of Fast and Loud, Rawlings began targeting cars of increasingly higher value that drew attention from knowledgeable collectors. Soon, suspicions arose that couldn't be overlooked. The case began to unravel when a wealthy European collector purchased a rare 1967 Shelby GT500, allegedly featuring special factory modifications and racing history, for $1.2 million. However, when the new owner attempted to insure the car at full value, the insurance company's verification process revealed a heartbreaking truth. The car was actually a standard Mustang, expertly modified and worth only about $180,000. The collector testified via video link during the trial, "I trusted Richard Rawlings because of his reputation. I watched his show and believed I was buying a piece of automotive history, but what I got was a sophisticated counterfeit." The most damaging evidence came from Rawlings's own emails and phone calls, in which he personally confirmed the authenticity of the car to the buyer. This correspondence was entered as evidence, providing a strong foundation for the wire fraud charges, one of the most heavily penalized offenses. This only heightened the severity of the case, putting Rawlings at risk of facing even harsher consequences. As the case progressed, prosecutors revealed that the fraudulent operation grew more complex over time. Initially, the cars underwent relatively simple modifications. But as the scheme evolved, the attention to detail became extraordinary. Components were artificially aged to mimic expected wear and tear of genuine vehicles, making them increasingly difficult to detect. Prosecutor Daniel Keller remarked, "We're not just dealing with a typical fraud case, this is car counterfeiting at a level so sophisticated it challenges our very definition of authenticity." In the world of car collecting, the consequences of this case rippled far beyond Rawlings himself. Automotive authentication experts testified that the level of sophistication in these counterfeit cars cast doubt on the provenance of many high-value vehicles held by collectors worldwide. Some auction houses even announced plans to re-verify the authenticity of any car associated with Rawlings or Gas Monkey Garage. For the car collecting community, this case marked an astonishing breach of trust, shaking an industry built on authenticity and reputation. The empire Rawlings had built over more than a decade began to collapse. After the court's verdict, Discovery Networks quickly issued a statement distancing itself from Rawlings, announcing that all Fast and Loud episodes would be pulled from their streaming platform for further review. "We are shocked and deeply disappointed by the jury's verdict," the network statement read. "Discovery has always prided itself on the authenticity and integrity of our programs and the experts featured on our shows. We are now reviewing all Fast and Loud episodes to assess whether viewers were exposed to any misinformation." Gas Monkey Bar and Grill, the restaurant chain Rawlings had expanded to multiple locations, also announced it would immediately rebrand to distance itself from the controversy. Reports from employees revealed that the negative fallout from the scandal forced the chain to make significant changes in an effort to protect its reputation. Following the verdict, everything began to shift rapidly. Teams started removing Gas Monkey signage and merchandise from locations within hours. The Gas Monkey Garage website and social media accounts were taken offline, replaced by a brief statement from the company's legal team announcing that all business operations were suspended until the ongoing legal matters were resolved. The most significant reaction came from the automotive community, which had once hailed Rawlings as an icon of the industry. Previously a frequent guest star, Rawlings immediately cancelled all scheduled appearances. Automotive publications which had regularly featured his builds quietly removed any content related to him from their digital archives. Dennis Collins, Rawlings's longtime friend who had stood by him throughout the trial, issued a brief statement expressing shock at the verdict and concern for Rawlings's health. However, he notably refrained from defending Rawlings's innocence. Collins stated, "This is a difficult time for everyone involved. I'm just trying to process everything we've been through." Financial experts estimate that the combination of mandatory damages, restitution, and collapse of his business interests could cause Rawlings to lose nearly everything. Court documents indicate that many of his assets, including his personal car collection, real estate, and business holdings, will likely be liquidated to satisfy the financial judgments against him. Financial analyst Trevor Wilson explained, the fines and restitution, totaling $26 million, essentially erase his net worth. With mounting legal costs and the complete loss of income, we are witnessing a total financial collapse. For the victims of the repossession scheme, those who had purchased misrepresented cars at inflated prices, the verdict provided some sense of vindication. But the practical remedy was limited. While the court ordered restitution, the complicated process of identifying and verifying all affected vehicles means many victims may be waiting years for compensation if they ever receive it. Renowned automotive historian Patricia Lawson remarked, "Think about the collectors who bought these cars believing they were acquiring true pieces of automotive history, only to discover